for Walking Movies. I'm Nick, and today we are off to see Fast 10. Not Fast 9 like I said in the previous version of this recording. And whenever I think of a Fast film, I think of that song We Are Family by Sister Sledge. Except it's brothers and sisters, not just sisters, that are with Vin Diesel and the rest of the crew in the Fast films. Now, I really am not sure what to expect with this film. For the first time since I saw it at the cinema, I watched Fast 9 yesterday in order for me to just refresh my memory a bit of that film. And I remember not loving it when I saw it, but saying, it was entertaining enough. But Jesus, it's not a great film. It's definitely not. And I'm not entirely sure where this film's going to go today. If it's going to be more of that, or if it will hopefully be better than Fast 9. So, yeah, I don't know. I have been looking forward to this, but the more it's come up to actually coming out, the less interested I've been. And I am concerned about how this is going to end up. And originally this was supposed to be the first in a two-part end to the Fast and Furious franchise. They've since come out and said that maybe this is part 1 of 3, so I don't know. It's still called Fast 10, but I wonder if that's what it's going to say at the end of the film. It could end with it saying Fast 10 part 1 or something, which would be a bit. But I've not read any reviews, but I've seen reviews that have been online. It does seem to be a bit of a mixed bag, but the Fast and Furious films generally are not really well reviewed because they are the epitome of Hollywood popcorn films. So I don't really read too much into that, but yeah, I hope it's better than 9. I hope it's better than 8. But my expectations are lower going into this film, I think. So we'll have to wait and see. By the way, it's a lovely day. It's about 17 degrees centigrade. I've got to wear my new sunglasses for the first time. If you want a pair, I've got a referral link down below. They are really great. I'm actually very impressed with them, but I chose them for the colours. But yeah, I don't really know what else I can say about the film just yet, other than I hope it doesn't completely suck. So we'll see. All the cast are back, with the exception of The Rock. Famously, that feud with Vin Diesel still going on. So make of that what you will. I think he'll come back. I think he'll be back at some point. Yeah, okay. That'll do for now. That'll do for the intro. I will see you after I've seen the film. Give you my thoughts of Fast 10. See you on the other side. Okay, so Fast 10. That's what we're up to now, isn't it? Fast 10. Hang on. Right. Here we go. So, Fast 10. Well, I enjoyed it a lot more than 9, and I think 8 as well, from memory serves. There was a lot I liked about the film. There was a lot I enjoyed, but there was also some things that either annoyed me or just aggravated me as well. So let's talk about that. So I thought the whole stuff in Rome was pretty shoddy. Wasn't really a fan of that at all. It's parts of the film, or the film series, where you really have to suspend your disbelief. I know that there's a lot in Fast and Furious films you have to do that, but in this one I think there was a lot in that sequence that I just thought, come on guys. So I didn't like that. Most of the rest of the film I did enjoy. The action sequences. Jason Momoa is, give him the Oscars. He was so entertaining as the villain in this film. Like, I was actually quite shocked with how he played Dante. Just really entertaining, very well done. Really enjoyed everything with him in it. What I didn't understand was John Cena, who, as is tradition with Fast and Furious films, was a villain in a prior film and is now a good guy, helping everyone out. He was goofy John Cena, which we've seen in, like, well, you may not have seen, but I've seen in certain films, like kids' films. He's played that character really well. So it was weird that there was such a kind of change in the character, a complete 180 on what the character was like in the last film. But he was good. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy him in the film, but I just couldn't really understand why he was doing what he was doing. But he was good. The rest of the cast were exactly how they are in previous films. Like, it was all good. It was all fine. But yeah, I mean, there was no kind of well, I didn't say right to the end of the credits, but there was nothing that kind of like said, you know, to be continued in part 2 or part 3 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the film ends midway through at least another film, so it's definitely going to be another one of these, which they'd already announced there was going to be another film, but the way it ends, there's so many things unresolved that that's what you're going to get. So overall, I think this gets a 6 out of 10. If you're not a fan of the series, this is probably not going to change your feelings on that. If you do like these films, then it probably will. But that's really where we are. Good if you like it. As I said, the thing is that the main important thing for me is this was better than the last few films. So in that regard, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I came out of there not feeling like I wasted my time, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing this again, if anything. So yeah, that's good. Now let's talk about some spoilers, eh? Okay, so this is your last warning. I will talk spoilers now. So the film ends on a almost literal cliffhanger, which is bold and brassy to do. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Mission Impossible in a few months, because that's been advertised as a part 1. So you know that you're going to get a sequel to finish off the story. This was called Fast 10, it wasn't called Fast 10 Part 1, which is what I was saying before we came out to watch the film. What does that mean? And I'm still a little bit, unsure as to what's going to happen there. So it's literally left on a cliffhanger. The problem I've got with the series as a whole is definitely in this film as well, and that is no one ever dies, or sorry, no one ever stays dead. So towards the end of the film, you see Jacob sacrifice himself in order to save Dom and little Brian, but history tells us that he will have survived that miraculous car crash, and he'll be in the next film. And that is further hammered home by the end part of the film, where we see that Gal Gadot's character is back. She's not dead, despite dying in 6. I like the character she played, and it was a lovely story, her and Han, but she's been brought back. So every major character that we've seen killed off has returned, has been brought back from the dead. And so where's the jeopardy? Where's the peril? Because they can just seemingly bring them back on a whim. I just don't like it. I don't care how much you like the characters. Like, even in superhero films, it's bad enough, but at least in superhero films there's a lot of like powers and special abilities and all this that kind of justifies these things being able to happen. But these films are supposed to be grounded in reality. So how can we keep doing this? But also, like, every time that something major happens, like I said, Jacob sacrificed himself in this film, and yet I've got full confidence he'll be back in the next one. So what was his sacrifice for? But overall, I did really enjoy it, a lot more than I had hoped going into it that I would do. So I do recommend it. And although I gave it a 6, should you go and see this at the cinema? Yeah, I'd say yeah, why not? Because if you're gonna go, if you want to watch these films, go and see them in the best way that you can, and that's on the big screen. So go and enjoy it on the big screen. But if you're not a fan of these films, then don't bother. I said it's not going to change your opinion. I'm not keen on the move from more practical effects to CG. I felt there was a lot of CGI in this film, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. But yeah, if you like these films, go and see it on the big screen. If not, maybe watch it when it comes to streaming. But you know, I do enjoy these really cheesy films. So it ticked the boxes. It did enough. I enjoyed it. So there you go. That's Fast 10. Not sure what's next. I was going to say Beau is Afraid, until I found out it was almost 3 hours long. And I'm like, no, I'll wait for that to come at home. So I am going to see The Little Mermaid next week, and I think the weekend after that is when Spider-Verse comes out, which is insane. Summer blockbuster season is definitely on. Well, it's not even on the way, it's here. But yeah, subscribe if you don't already. Subscribe to either the podcast or the YouTube. Please do that. It really helps with algorithms. I hate having to say stuff like that, but it's true, it does. And share this with your friends as well, especially if they're on the fence about going to see this film. And thank you for joining me, and I will see you with another episode next week, where you can hear my thoughts on The Little Mermaid and what I think. Alright, until next time, just remember that Flynn lives.